Titans, ladies and gentlemen. Titans, episode 6, part 1, season finale. What the hell is a part 1 season finale? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Titans is here. Episode 6, Brother Blood. It's your boy Icon with a DC TV review. And apparently now we're doing part season finales. This isn't Voltron. This isn't Pokemon on Netflix. Oh, man. See, here's the thing. Because if you're watching, Pokemon Journeys, they're doing the same thing where it's one season. Like, you're watching one season of the show. Let's say, that one season has, 46 episodes or whatever the case may be. They're breaking for Pokemon, they're breaking the episode, the season up into parts. So, so you get, so if it's 48 episodes, they're doing 4 parts. They put out 12 episodes every 3 months. And then people mistake that sometimes because they think if 3 months go by, you get 12 episodes. They're like, oh, that's season 1. Then when you get the next batch of 12 episodes, like, oh, it's season 2. No, you're still in the same season. They're just breaking it up into parts. And apparently now we're doing the same thing for Titans. And this is the only reason why they're doing this part 1 finale, buffoonery. Doom Patrol comes out December 8th. And for some reason, there is somebody that's working at HBO Max, DC, Warner Brothers, Entertainment, Media, Paramount, or whatever. There is one person, for some reason, that does not want both Titans and Doom Patrol to air at the same time. There is this weird obsession with having one show play and then having another show play, because God forbid we get multiple things that we can enjoy at the same time. So now what they're doing is, just to get Doom Patrol out there, because they don't want to wait all the way until next year for Doom Patrol, they've given us half the season of Titans, because we only get 13 episodes for Titans. So the halfway mark would be episode 6, episode 7ish. So we're halfway through Titans now. Now they're gonna stop Titans. They're going to start Doom Patrol, and then we're going to get about 6 or 7 episodes of Doom Patrol. Then they're going to stop Doom Patrol halfway through, finish the second half of Titans, and then when Titans is completely over and finished, then they're going to give us the second half of Doom Patrol. So now if you do the math, because December 8th is when Doom Patrol starts. December 8th, so that would be episode 1. So let's say they're giving us 6 episodes. So that's basically 6 weeks. 3 weeks in December, the first 3 weeks of January. Titans does not come back until the last week of January. And then because it's the last 7 episodes, so that's 1 week in the end of January, and then you got 6, so 4 weeks of February. Titans doesn't end until tax season in April. By the time season 4 of Titans is over, think about this now, because I live in New York. So for all those that live on the East Coast, New York specifically, it is currently cold where we are. It is freezing. It is raining. It's going to be snowing soon, etc., etc. By the time this season of Titans is finished, it will be warm outside because it's going to be the spring. So then April 15th, let's say Titans is finally finished. So now we have to do the last 7 episodes of the Doom Patrol. So that's 2 episodes in April, 2 episodes in April. Yeah, 2 episodes in April and 5 in May. By the time Doom Patrol is over, it'll be June. So I need y'all to think about this right now. Doom Patrol starts December the 8th. By the time Doom Patrol is over, it will be June, and it will be my birthday is May 27th, Memorial Day weekend. Doom Patrol will finish the weekend of my birthday. All because one person doesn't want both of these shows to air at the same time. I have to wait all the way until tax season to get the second half of Titans, and I gotta wait till my birthday to watch the rest of Doom Patrol. Jesus Christ. So anyway, talking about this particular episode, in the last episode, Brother Blood, he had said the words Azeroth, Metreon, Synthos, and he sacrificed himself to save Corey and Rachel. Corey and Rachel, they're on their way back to to Star Labs to talk about how they failed and they couldn't save Sebastian. And then that's when Rachel decided to tell Corey. She was like, hey, when I was digging in your brain and everything, I saw the vision with the little girl and with Dick and with all of us together. She said the funny thing is last season when we was in Gotham, Dick had, when, she's like, when I was in the Lazarus pit and all that shit, she's like, I saw the same vision. Like, Dick had the same vision that you had. He had the same dream, but he didn't tell you. And then and then she didn't say anything. She was just like, oh, like, what? Because she was like, did Dick mention it? And she was like, no. So she confronts Dick about it. And then she was just like, the little girl with the balloon, she's like, I had the same dream. And then Dick was like, screw destiny. And then he said that was her own words. He said, because he said every single vision that you've had has not come true. And you said, to hell with destiny, to hell with visions, to hell with all this mystical mumbo jumbo. And then she gets mad because she's like, yeah, screw destiny, right? And then she walks away. So I'm like, now all of a sudden, because it's about your baby, now you mad at him for saying the words that came out of your mouth because now it's about your child. So I'm like, God, I hope Corey doesn't piss me off in the second half of the season. So now they go back and they're just like, hey, listen, we failed y'all, and Brother Blood is now with his mama. So they need to come up with a plan. Connor, for some reason, he's had enough. So between his daddy Lex dying and him getting controlled by a magical snake, he's now tapped into the Lex side of his DNA because he's determined to stop Mother Mayhem at all costs. So he shaves his head bald, that he puts on a leather jacket, and he's decided now he's going to become the new Lex Luthor. He's going into Star Labs. He's basically cursing everybody out, telling them they ain't shit. He was like, no, your plans don't work. And then he told Dick, he was just like, Batman had the right idea when he bashed the Joker's skull in. And he's like, so Tim, you're the numbers guy, you're the detective. How many people has the Joker killed since Bruce bashed his skull in? 0. So then he goes into the Star Labs facility and he starts taking over the Star Labs facility. He's telling all the people that work there what to do, and they're not very happy about it. But this whole thing was, he was trying to pinpoint the satellites so that way he can quote unquote move the Earth or move the Blood Earth or whatever. Because Mother Mayhem, she's drawing her power from the Blood Earth. And they have about 1 hour for the Blood Earth to still be in alignment for them to do the ritual with Sebastian. So he was trying to stop the ritual by moving satellites and like moving the Blood Moon. He ends up succeeding, and he moves the Blood Moon. Him and Dick get into a little altercation because Dick was just like, look, bro, he was just like, he's like, I appreciate, the win and everything, like, but what you did, he said, but the whole thing with the bald head and the leather jacket, and he was like, why, Richard? He was like, are you afraid of me, Richard? He's like, are you concerned, Richard? He's like, don't be mad because I'm leveling up, Richard. And then he's like, stop calling me Richard. And he's like, hold up, you prefer Dick? And then he was like, yeah, I prefer Dick because the last guy that called me Richard tried to kill me. Because Dick's not stupid. He was like, plus, you temporarily stopped the Blood Moon, but when your he said, you basically moved a bunch of satellites. He was like, once your satellites fail, then they'll have about a 5-minute window to perform the ritual. And then you can see Connor got a little upset about that because he's like, shit, like you found out. But he was like, first of all, they're not going to think about that. Like, when criminals get angry, they go into flux and then they don't think clearly. And then it cuts to a scene where Mother Mayhem's like, yo, tap into the Star Lab satellite to see who tried to stop the Blood Moon. So like they do it immediately. Dick ends up saying, he's like, well, the rest of us is going to go come up with a plan to get Sebastian back. So you can stay here, do what you want to do, and we'll see what happens. Then Connor gets upset. He goes to this one girl, then he was like, oh, did anybody try to hack into our servers in the last like 10 minutes or so? And then the girl was like, yeah. And the signal came from like this random dam somewhere. That's where they tried to like, hack into our server. So he's like, oh, that's where Mother Mayhem is. And instead of telling everybody that, his dumbass decides to go down there and try to confront her and stop her on his own. He goes down there, he runs up on Mother Mayhem. She beats his ass because the supers, they're vulnerable against kryptonite and magic. So Mother Mayhem beats his ass, strips him of his power somehow, and then they tie his dumb ass up and got him locked in the basement. The rest of the team now, Jinx came up with an idea because she told Rachel, she was just like, oh, darling, she's like, your power is dormant. She was like, it may be gone, but the connection's still there. She's like, all we have to do is just reestablish the connection with you and your power. So she ends up doing this whole ritual thing where she puts like some red blood or some shit on Rachel's head. And it was funny because she was trying to basically recreate the jewel, like, that was on her forehead that she got from Trigon. But instead, it was I don't understand why like nobody in the studio caught this. It was supposed to be like in the center. She actually put it like over here. Like she was way off with putting that red stuff in the center of her head. And then she told Corey, she was like, go ahead, love, use your power. And then Corey infused some of her power into Rachel. When Corey put her power into Rachel, Jinx ended up using blue goo to put next to the red goo. And then when she put the blue goo next to the red goo, you can see the red goo was centered more. So that way both of them, when I was like, who missed this the first time? But anyway, so she has red blue and she has blue goo on her thing, on her forehead. And it's supposed to reestablish her connection with her power, which it does. She was able to establish the connection. She found her power. She saw her power located in the dam, and she saw Connor's dumb ass tied up in the basement. And then she was like, oh my God, they have Connor. and then nobody even bothered to question, like, wasn't he just upstairs like 2 seconds ago? Like, no one questioned that. They're just like, okay, so all hands on deck, we're going in and we're gonna save Connor. Everybody get dressed. Oh, there was also a funny moment before Connor had left to go to the dam to go confront Mother Mayhem. When him and Dick did get into their their verbal altercation, he said, because Dick was just like, listen, he was like, are you sure you're not spiraling out of control? Because he's like, I understand that you're growing and you want to prove yourself and blah blah blah. And then that's when Connor got mad, and he was like, first of all, Rachel is completely useless. He said Gar is having like an emotional mental breakdown. Corey's blue power thingy is inconsistent as best. And then he said Tim, I don't even know why Tim is even on the team anymore. He's like, Tim does absolutely nothing. So he said that since I'm the only person on the team that actually knows what he's doing and whose powers actually work, you might just want to get on board or get out of the way. But while everybody was getting dressed now to go down to save Sebastian and to go save Connor, Gar, he got a visit from, I'm going to assume, is Anansi. Because if you ever watch the Static Shock cartoon show, the Static cartoon, there were a few episodes with a gentleman known as Anansi the Spider. He was the hero of Africa, and he had this power of the blue spider, whatever. And because the guy sounded just like him. And he was talking to Gar about his connection to the animal kingdom. And then he said, yes, you Gar. He was like, you have the power and the connection of the spirit kingdom. Just like, what is it? Buddy Blade? Animal Man, basically the superhero, the DC superhero known as Animal Man. It was Buddy. His name was something Buddy or Buddy something. And then he said Mari McCabe, which was Vixen. I was like, oh shit, a Vixen reference. So, and that's true because Animal Man can tap into the spirit of the animal kingdom, and so can Mari. Because if you go on HBO Max and watch the Vixen animated series, it literally shows her connection with the spirit animals and the spirit kingdom of the animal world. So it was dope to get a Mari McCabe, like reference, and I really hope we get a Vixen appearance sometime on Titans. But now we know both Vixen and Animal Man exists on this particular Earth. So then he tells Gar, he was like, and then even on Young Justice, there was an episode of Young Justice where it actually showed Beast Boy having a conversation with a monkey that was talking to him about tapping into the spirit of the animal kingdom. So this does exist. So anyway, he told him, he was like, listen, he was like, when you are down in the basement and your team is about to die because you're going to blow this tremendously. He said, when the wall splits in two, head for the red zone or the red field or the red light or something of that nature. He's like, boy, don't forget this. So because he's like, you got Logan all the key. So Gar, he got that wrapped up in his brain now. So they go down there, they come up with a plan, everybody. And then, this blew my mind. So then when Dick is telling everybody the plan, and then he was just like, we need a distraction so we can get a distraction. And then Gar was just like, I know just the thing, we can use to distract him. The distraction that they got, they were doing the ritual. They were in the middle of doing the ritual. And then when they were doing the ritual, Gar turns into a gorilla, jumps into the Brother Blood sanctum and scares all the people, and they start running. And I'm like, now he turns into a motherfucking gorilla. Here we go. I'm like, he went from a tiger to now we're doing like every animal from A to Z. And I thought that was hilarious. But before we get into that, because this really blew my mind, more on Sebastian Blood, because this episode actually was called Brother Blood. And we get a little bit into Brother Blood's backstory. Mother Mayhem was basically trying to get him to drink from the chasel or the bowl and then take a bath into the blood water so he could receive his power. And in order to get him there, because one of the memes was like, yo, just take his ass, just throw his ass in the goddamn pool. But she was like, no, he must do it willingly. So she ended up taking him on a trip down memory lane regarding like his past and then his future. When he was a boy, he ended up in a foster home. His foster mother seemed okay. She seemed nice. She seemed friendly. But then she adopted another child. Because the girl, she was missing an eye. When she brought the girl in, she told Sebastian, she was like, hey, listen, because this girl is sick and because, she's had like a real rough time, she said, we're going to let her have your room, Sebastian, because your room is warmer. I don't know how that's even a thing. But then, there was a game that Sebastian had and she was like, oh, let the girl have a try. She took everything that she gave to him and gave it to the girl. And then Mother Mayhem was like, see, she punished you for your strength and rewarded her for her weakness. And then Sebastian was like, first of all, she was sick. And that's what I said. I was like, the girl's missing an eye and she is sick and she's in a foster home. What's the the room thing was weird to me, but I'm like, what's the big deal about sharing a toy? I was like, that wasn't that serious. And then it takes us to a second scene where it shows Sebastian when he was in college and his professor was doing a math equation on the board and Sebastian came up with an easier way to solve that math equation. And then afterwards, his teacher was in his feelings about it because he was mad because he got him on that. And then he told him, he was just like, oh, I'm going to downgrade you to the beginner's class because you need to learn the fundamentals before you can start cheating and like skipping ahead and blah, blah, blah. Basically, the Mother Mayhem was like, oh, he was mad and he punished you because you were smarter than he was. On that one, you got it, because that was blatant. Like basically, he was just mad because Sebastian was smarter than him. So that was totally justified. And then in the final scene, this is now he's a grown-ass man. He has a girlfriend, and they were celebrating their 1-year anniversary. She gave him a gift. The gift freaked him out because I guess it reminded him of his mama. And then he ended up breaking up with the girl. And then after he broke up with his girlfriend, he actually screamed at her and he broke up with her. And then Mother Mayhem was like, why did you break up with such a lovely girl? And he was like, I broke up with her because eventually she was going to break up with me because everybody leaves me and nobody wants me and they all leave eventually. And I was like, well, damn, that's kind of sad now. So, I mean, that one was, and even then she admitted he wasn't justified for that because she was like, it's one thing if your enemies spite you and walk away from you and deceive you. But she's like, but if you stab yourself in the hand, you're a dumbass. So now she said that your power is absolute and people will follow you. People will love you, Sebastian, if you let them in. She brings in 3 of his followers, and it ended up being his childhood foster sister, his former teacher, and his ex-girlfriend. Now they take off the robes and they're just like, we'll do your bidding, Sebastian. We love you, Sebastian. And he was like, oh shit. So now with the congregation in hand, they're getting ready. Sebastian's getting ready to drink from the chalice. He's getting ready to receive the power. And then right before he drinks from the chalice and receives the power, that's when Guard came out of nowhere dressed like a gorilla. And then he starts scaring everybody. Corey comes in, Corey knocks out Mother Mayhem, and then Jinx shows up. And then this was ridiculous to me. Jinx waited until Mother Mayhem regained consciousness, and then Jinx used her power to freeze her. Why did you not think to freeze her when Corey knocked her out and she was laying on the floor? Then the girl started talking that shit, and she was just like, oh, you can't move, love, can you? She was just like, oh, it feels weird to be stiff now, doesn't it? And then Mother Mayhem broke free from her power and stabbed her in the stomach, and now apparently Jinx is dead. Or is she? Because right before Jinx hit the ground, she was like, oh, no, not again. And then I was like, and then when she said that, I was like, not again. Like, what do you mean again? I'm like, have you died before? So Jinx is coming back. Like she ain't really dead. So then Gar's still running around chasing everybody around because he's a gorilla. Dig is fighting people and everything. And then Gar takes the globe, the ball, the crystal ball thing that had Rachel's power trapped in it, and he smashed it on the floor. Once he smashed it on the floor, Rachel's power broke out of it. It broke free. And then Rachel's power started flying around the room. The power went back into Rachel. Rachel regained her power. And when she regained her power, she ended up having on a white veil suit. And now she looks like Raven did in the Teen Titans cartoon when she visited the Temple of Azarath. And then she ended up turning white to go like defeat her daddy. They basically replicated that whole look. So, and even then when she had the new look, and then Tim was looking at her like, girl, what the hell happened? She was like, she's like, don't ask me. She's like, my name's Bennett, I ain't in it. She was like, I don't know what happened and I can't explain this. And then at that moment, Sebastian, he was just like, oh, I'm tired of being nobody. And he's like, I'm tired of being a loser. So he drinks from the chalice, he says the magic words, and then once he drinks from the chalice, he ended up like releasing like this echo vibration, this sonic echo sound. And when he released like that echo vibration, the walls in the room started crumbling. And then like Anansi, I'm calling him Anansi, damn it. Like Anansi, the spider said, when the temples split, and then everybody was like holding their ears and they were on the floor like in agonizing pain, that's when Gar was like, take me to the red zone. And Gar disappeared. Everyone else disappeared. The whole Titans team disappeared. But the difference is when Gar disappeared, he was red. Like there was like a red silhouette around him when he disappeared. When everyone else disappeared, they just faded out of existence. So I don't know if Gar took them with him or if Gar's going one place and they're just going somewhere else. I actually don't know what happened. But we're not going to find that out until January, ladies and gentlemen. And then Brother Blood took a bath in the waters, and now he would become Brother Blood, and the transformation is absolute and complete. But at least Rachel has a power back. We're done with the part 1 season finale, the mid-season finale of Titans, and thank you for tuning end. So, I mean, I'm mostly mad because I really want to know what's going to happen now, and I literally now have to wait till January. I love me some Doom Patrol. I'm looking forward to the Doom Patrol. I'm going to review the Doom Patrol. I don't see why, because we're getting the Doom Patrol, I have to wait until the end of January for Titans. But anyway, share your questions, comments, and or concerns down below. Let me know what you thought about this particular episode of Titans. Is Jinx really dead? What's going on with Gar and the spirit of the animal kingdom? Is Corey and Dick going to make a baby? Was Brother Blood going to reign supreme? Share your questions, comments, and we will continue to talk about it. Check me out on Twitter and or Instagram. Hit the notification bell if you have not already to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because so many people have been subscribing over these last few months, and I love you for that. I appreciate you for that. We are trying to get to 500, and if you all can help me make that happen, I will be eternally grateful for life. So I was going to say till next time, but I guess until January, if you're looking for a Titans review, we'll be back for Titans when Titans returns. Until then, I got the Stargirl season finale up on my channel as well, and we're doing Doom Patrol when Doom Patrol comes out tomorrow. So till next time, guys, as we wait for more Titans action, take care. Don't take a bath in the water unless you want to have the ultimate power. And until Nightwing and the gang returns, we're out this bitch.